Yeah.
Yes.
So I just zoomed out, right? So I went first, I started looking at quarterlies to see what's coming up from the balance and imbalance perspective. And I'll explain more in detail what I'm seeing here, but we're at a very critical spot where, the bulls have a chance, right? So if you guys think about, LVNs do what for us in terms of value? Why do LVNs show up? So for new folks, like this one right here, this one here, this one here, this one here. What do they do for us? What do these things do? Like, why are they there?
Like showing aggression where they didn't like price in those areas.
Yeah. So, in other words, what it does for us is that it separates where they didn't like and where they liked, right? So when you think about that, when you have these massive nodes like this one, did they like the prices here? Well, they traded a lot in that area, right? And you can see the volume node here. This is your volume nodes. They're pretty massive, right? So the more volume there is, maybe it's acceptance. They're catching up. And now if they don't hold this, what does it tell you?
It's going down.
Then you're gonna seek value somewhere else, right? So that's the key component, right? So LVNs are emotional buyers or institutional traders that come in and they drive the price higher. So, we consolidated here, came back, and then you had this massive candle. We popped higher. So now we're most likely going to be retesting that, right? So ideally, we want to hold this because this happens to be also the quarterly value area low, right? So it's somewhere around 25, 5825. There'll be a big zone for bulls to step in. And you're having this massive candle here, right? And you can check that with volume. Does it check out in terms of volume and everything that happened there? But I'll probably say no, right? In terms of relatively to the other candles here, it's not, it's full body candle, didn't even cross the volume average of 21 days here. So, but to me, that doesn't check out, right? So we'll probably see a fight somewhere around here. And then I would say that this would be my next target right below. So if they can hold this, right, they're probably going to go somewhere to this level, call it 57.73 or so. Right here. So 57.69 is the peak of this high volume node. You guys see that, right? So that's that's the highest volume node here. So if I was a bull, I'd want to stay above this, right? Because then if you don't, you have an LVN and you're most likely going to fill this. And basically, I would say you're going to hit this Q3 24 VPOC that's sitting right here for me. So, and I had to go on ES1 just because I'm looking at the data way before this contract had volume, right? And I don't back adjust, so I just shifted here to chart. All the levels for us will be identical in terms of short term. The longer term won't be because you guys won't have much data in Q2 on H, right? So with that being said, this is a really, really big spot for them, right? So if you go on daily, are we framing down, right? We are framing down. If you go on a weekly time frame, we are framing down on a weekly time frame, and then on the monthly, we just cracked the framing down. So if you're a long-term bull, what is it that you want to see them reclaim? If you're like a,
Like around 58.80.
I mean, this should be a really, really important level for them to reclaim and close above. If they can do that, then there's hope that the Bulls are back here and they're going to drive this and reverse it, right? And this Q4 value is going to play a big role. Probably tomorrow. I don't know where we are right now, but probably tomorrow this is going to play a big role. And I'd be careful there for a major bounce, probably 50 to 60 points. They can bounce it from here. And a lot of late bulls, right? I'm sorry, bears would be punished here. And that level is somewhere right around here, 58.30. I would keep the zone to about 23, maybe even lower, right? To about 20. And just keep that area, right? If they lose that and reclaim it, do not be so bearish. And I've given you the same message time before when they did that and they reclaimed it and they rocketed from that level. I forgot where it was, but they exploded, right? So when they lose these big levels and they reclaim them, It's potentially other time frame coming in, and that's where you can use market profile, right, to kind of judge it, see who's in, who's out. And you see here, what could they do tomorrow, right? And I'm not predicting, I'm just being kind of aware of the scenarios. If this is my LVN, and if they're not interested in trading that before, could they do something like this tomorrow? Potentially, right? I mean, it would be a really good fake out on both ends.
Yeah.
So I would keep an eye on that, right? Just be aware of this level at 57.69. That's going to be a big level. From, if you guys look at the volume standpoint, if I just grab it from this low here, let's say to this high right here, it's going to be right at 57.69, guys. So this would be your POC from September, right? And you're coming up to that high volume node. So, and the volume profile, when we talk about it, you guys remember the volume accumulation setup? You guys recall that? Where you take the high volume nodes, especially this one. This one's going to be huge. 57.69 is going to offer a pretty good relief bounce, in my opinion. But let's see, right? So then you can zoom out, kind of look at it on the monthly time frames and see what's going on there. So let me just hide this. Just delete it. So here's your monthly time frames. And if you look here, so here's your October, here's your September value area, high and low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're inside October's, right? So there's a lot promising that we are going to go to 57.91 because that would traverse all of October, right? But keep in mind, last time when we peaked below the October 2 times, what happened?
Mm.
Not saying it happens again, but we went to new all-time highs. So there's potentially some people that are going to defend this level, and it might be sooner because even here we somewhat made equal lows. There's a lot of people that were short here. So let's see how we behave if we bounce here sooner at 57.69. So I'd keep an eye on that. If they lose 57.69, this is the point I asked you first. What did the volume nodes do? Low volume nodes do? Well, they separate acceptance, right? They separate your high volume nodes where you're trading happily and where you're not trading happily. Where you're not trading happily is your low volume node. So now if you look, you have a massive node here, right? And then right below that, you have another one that's up until here, right? So if they lose that level, there's a high chance that we're probably going to go a little bit below that, right? So I'd keep that in mind. And for me, I would say probably, to target this 57.69, they probably have to lose this 58.10ish to 8. I feel confident to take that 769 level here. Does that make sense? So I'd keep this, the end of it here, as a confirmation that they're out. Somewhere around here. I'll just type in high odds, if I can spell, of tapping.
They're gonna go that low, huh?
I think if they lose this, we tap this POC. I mean, think about the magnetism, right? I mean, there's a lot of volume here, right? This is a pretty massive volume here. And then below that, if you lose that, I would say you're going to go to 706, and this is going to be a big fight. I think this is our biggest zone that we have for bulls to fight around. So this is going to be massive here because this was our prior all-time high, like a really important prior all-time high, because if you look at it price action wise, higher highs, coming here and then a massive sell-off. And this was, I believe, what, the 10% or more that we got? Yeah, about somewhere 10.5% sell-off that we got. So that level is going to play a big role, guys. We went away from it. We defended it a few times. Now you made higher highs and you're coming back to it. So I would expect some people to show up and defend that, right? It's natural for them to do that. So on the monthlies, right? Are we framing down? Yeah, we're definitely framing down. We are outside of this monthly value area low. If they reclaim somewhere 81, and you guys see that 66 is there, pretty sure the value area low will shift down anyways. So we'll probably come down a little bit, and then if we crack here, you see that there's it's not low volume nodes, but it's not a high volume node. So we have an opportunity to potentially to go all the way to 59. What is that? 59.90 or so. Maybe even 6,000. Right? If they're able to reclaim this high volume node, then you want to be somewhat careful on shorting. As of right now, everything's pointing down, and when you look at the monthlies, we are out of balance here, right? We cracked this, and we cracked below the October POC. Now we're on the path for September value area high. They lose that. September had the really bad profile, if you guys remember, right? It had really bad structure here, and you still have a gap that's unfilled here, right? So I'd keep that in mind as we're going towards this Q4, because it might accelerate here between 57.70, that 69 level. It can accelerate fast up to here. Is there a chance that they just slice through this level here now? Yeah, maybe, but I am pretty confident they'll give us a fight on this level right here.
In September.
Yep, right here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how we behave around this tomorrow, right? I'll be somewhat cautious adding new shorts in this area. And then on the weekly, if we just shift it here, go to 1 week, go 65 minutes. See what it's telling us. Well, this one's interesting, right? What is this telling you?
1 week.
I'll increase
Value
2 hours.
area.
The value areas are stacked, right? So this week, hopefully, there's no weak sellers, because if there are, there's a high chance you can rocket from this area right here. Like where I say the bulls want to stay above this. If they stay above this, that's great. They lose this, then you're probably waiting for 808 to get some confirmation. You hit 69. If they don't bounce here, then this is a massive zone here, the green one. But look at the value on weekly. You have a double stack on the weekly value here, right? So the weekly did not shift. The value did not shift. It actually shifted higher, right? So they went higher up here, and that'll be interesting. Let me just check RTH, see if it's a different story. Yeah, same story. Yeah. So that's very interesting, right? Because when you're going down, what do you want to see with value?
Value going down.
You want to see the shift, right? You want to see the shift of value as well. So I think there's probably a chance that we are, let me see where we are, ETH. Oh. Man, I hope they give us this retest here. Yeah, bad. Well, maybe overnight.
Yeah, and go up.
Let's see what they do, but man, they're coming very close to this zone here where we want to see the bulls show up.
Yeah.
So I'll keep an eye on it for maybe
I got an order.
Or two. You got in, or that's very close if you got
No,
it.
I have an order set there.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
I'm not in yet. It didn't hit, but at 31.25 or something, I have a long set.
Yeah, I would give it maybe 10, 15 points overnight, maybe size down. So this is our
it's just
probably value area low.
Yeah, I'm
And that,
thinking to leave, a couple of MES in that area long.
that's not a bad idea. I mean, even if you catch an MES on, I played MES the other day, made $600 overnight.
That's right.
So, but this area here stacked with volume. I'm just
It's a
gonna
power
mark
nap.
this. I'm gonna mark this as an epoch. So now you see that there's a little bit of concern on the weekly, right? That we didn't shift down. I'm just gonna check the TPO to see how much time did we spend, and is the time agreeing? Okay, so value area low shifted. So it's both of them are screaming that the value didn't shift here. And if you guys look at this here, is there anything? Well, I'll get to it, but there's something that should be glaring to you guys, and it's very visible on how we should play it. From the weekly level standpoint, what is it?
Single prints.
Area.
They're giving you guys a nice, or us, all of us, they're giving us a nice distribution, right? So you have this massive distribution right at the top, right here, and then you have these single prints separating this. I'll mark them here. And then you have a lower distribution here. So think about the setup that they might give us here. If they reclaim this level right here, let's say that prior week value area low, low, and you see this zone right here, that's your single prints. I can't spell tonight.
This is which level? Can you spell out the number?
Yeah, 915, 907. But for me, that zone, this zone, I know where the single prints are and I can mark them, right? So I'll do this. I'll mark them here. Come on. I'll mark these here, but I'm gonna make this zone here a little bit wider. Why do you guys think I would do that?
The double value area lows.
Yeah, so you have this double value, right? And I would look for something like to be reclaimed on this level here, right? If you can reclaim this zone here, that's good, right? You have a high chance that you're most likely gonna be going higher. So I would definitely watch. Can you reclaim this orange little zone? If you do, give me a spike above 925, and then we have a potential to catch it really, really nice, right? You're talking about 30 points that we can play here, guys. So I would definitely look for opportunity to take this long if they, reclaim that. I don't know if they will or not, but that's a weekly level. If they go above this 5866, what could you do? If they bounce here, reclaim 5866, well, how could you play that?
At least to the single prints.
It would be easy single prints, I promised you. It's just gonna do this. And I would say there's a chance that they can push this to, 25. I just don't think you want to be in for those heart attack candles, maybe size down but I'll be happy to close this. If I catch this to here, I'm happy to close, right? So I'd keep that in mind if they reclaim the level there. That monthly framing level is going to be pretty important. We close right kind of at it, right? So I would keep an eye on it. I think we might get a bounce tomorrow, just thinking, unless there's news or something coming in before, might be a good day for them to offer a bounce and catch some late shorts. Okay,
PPI
so
tomorrow.
say it again.
PPI tomorrow.
You said PPI tomorrow?
Yep.
No, no. Tomorrow there is
PP.
2 days. PPI Tuesday, the CPI Wednesday.
Yeah, PPI is Tuesday.
So I got it wrong. Sorry.
Wednesday is CPI. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be. I guess that's gonna be volatile. Probably 200 points candle.
It's going to be massive shorty. Dealers have, jacked up the premium like anything.
No, of course you would too. Uncertainty, right? They're coming into a new leadership and they don't know what the hell to expect. So I can't blame them, Sonny, right? There's people willing to buy shit on options right now. This is a good time to maybe sell. But what do I know?
Trump for the dump.
All right, well, let me look at the daily now. So that's our weekly level. That's fairly important there. And then let's take a look at this. Hide these candles. Trump for the dump. Come on. Trading view, why it takes so long. There we go. All right, apologies. So we talked about this, right, in the class. What did we say about the tails between A and B? The last class we had, somebody new. Danny, what did we talk about tail? What did we say about
I just remember if the tail is like doesn't have a friend, that means it's a strong high, or if it's below, it means a strong low.
Okay, so look at the tail right now on period A. We said period A and B we pay attention to a lot more, right? They
Yeah.
carry a little bit more weight when you have a single print in A or B period. But we have a lot of single prints in A period, and I marked them in 907. So as of right now, when they try to bounce, right, what happened? They opened here, right? They opened pretty high. What happened then? So we have a gap down. They tried to reclaim it, and then immediately from the open level, a little bit lower, they started selling. So whatever period came in here, I don't know what period it was. Let's find out. What was that? I and J period came, but they were not able to reclaim that. And then you see, since then, right, they really did not make anything. You had almost an outside period here in J, and then they continued the framing down. And you see the value shifted slowly below back again. So we have a massive, I would say, a B period, lowercase b profile. And I would just mark some of these levels, right? So if they reclaim this, what is this, 58, 58, you have a chance for a pump. I'm not going to put these levels on just so I don't want to put too much on my chart. But I know if we are able to reclaim this level here, I'm targeting single prints, which will, of course, that's why there's single prints here. But this would be a good exit for me to play tomorrow if they decide to pump or rebound tomorrow. Okay. What about the downside? What is the level that you guys want to see them hold, or what is the most important level?
Those stacked value area lows from the last 2 weeks.
Okay. So if you're a bear, you don't want them to reclaim that, correct? This zone here.
You want them to create another bracketed value area lower than the last, with hopefully this week's value area high lining up with those stacked value area lows.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty good, right? I mean, we did not want, if you're a bear, you want to stay below this, right? If you're playing this, day-to-day level, I would say stay above this level here, right? So if you think about this, why would I mark this level right here? Why would that matter? Why do you guys think like a Friday 8 period low would matter?
It's the end of the week, and it's showing that all the dealers or all the market participants are looking to establish value lower from the beginning of the day.
Exactly. So if they're able to reclaim this, then there might be interest to explore this area, guys. And on Friday, right, they rejected perfectly of 61.8. There was few of us that took this short. If you guys remember, we were adding to a short around 901. We added more, and then they tapped this 61.8, and they literally sold off aggressively from there. So I would watch this, right? And then you have this value area high as well. I would probably lean more towards 91 if I'm gonna catch a key level. But 84 might play a role, because if you look at these single prints, or I'm sorry, the periods, there's a little bit of price action above, but nothing certain, right? So in between these areas, it's not like you're building value, you're framing down here. But if you can reclaim this, maybe you get some buyers and start building in the A period and kind of minimize this massive single periods that you have up top, right? So I'll keep that one somewhat on my charts, right? Make sense? And I think if you go on SVP here, let me go here for a second, on the daily session profiles. So here's this level here, 5886. So, and you see how close that is to the value area. So I'll probably treat this as a zone for, go above this and you can go higher, because why do we pay attention to the value areas on lowercase b's? Guys, remember, we had a couple of times where we marked them and they're fairly important.
Because they're bullish, I think.
Lowercase
opposite.
b's are not bullish.
Or bearish.
Yeah, but tell me logically, why would it matter? Here, I wrote it out for you. Because if let's say we trade inside of this, is that bullish or bearish?
It's just consolidation. I don't think it's either.
It's definitely bearish, right? You had value here. Now
Okay.
you're agreeing the value's here.
Okay.
So that's bearish. You're accepting lower prices. And that's where a lot of people make a mistake, right? Just because you're consolidating. So now you answered your own question. If I reject this value area high and value area low to the upside or downside, if I crack it to the upside, I guarantee you we hit this zone right here. Because that would mean that you're rejecting this value here that's created. And this is your prior day, right? I would say value area low. So if they're trading inside of it tomorrow, especially right before the massive news, don't treat that as, I would say, bearish, right? If tomorrow we have a consolidating day, which could happen, right? I don't know how we open where, but if they reclaim this level, they could go here and you could have two-sided activity. But if they crack this level, what could happen next? Imagine they peak here below. How many shorts would jump in?
It would fake a lot of people out, probably.
They would take everyone out. You
Yeah.
crack this previous day low here, and you reclaim this PD value area low. You're setting up for a quick 80% because remember, when it's a tighter value area like this one, is it easier or harder for them to traverse this?
Easier.
Much easier, right? So this 80% could play out quickly, and it could, if they crack the value area high, cause short cover rally, right? You basically deliver the pain to the shorts, they didn't get out, and now it's like, okay, well, keep buying to cover, right? And they keep going, and then PPI comes in, maybe they kind of fail somewhere around here, maybe they make higher high, and the framing down on the daily, because that's what bulls want to do, right? If you think about this, since what is it? Since January 6th, framing down, framing down, framing down, framing down, another lowercase b. And for bears, they want to stay below this because if they crack this, there's going to be a massive explosion to the upside, right? Most likely they run a 59.50, reclaim that, run it all the way here, and so on, all the way up to the prior week value area high. So I wouldn't be
I have a
shocked.
question.
Mhm.
What makes you like know that if it breaks that it's gonna skyrocket? Like, what
But that's
makes
where
you
all
know
the
that?
bears, when you have a lowercase b, their goal is to pin your value lower. As soon as you're accepting value here, that's bearish. If they
Mhm.
crack this level, all the smart shorts close their positions, right? The big boys are like, okay, well, here comes a short cover rally. I don't have to sell it to you here. Remember how we talked about shoes? Would you want to sell me the shoes at
Yeah.
1200 here? Or if you know you have buyers, would you put them right here?
Yeah, obviously, I want to take them up there.
Yeah, so you would lift your offer, you would lift your ask, right? You'd be like, oh, never mind, I want 1500 for these right now. So think about shorts. Are they inclined to sell here or here?
Well, the shorts want to sell lower.
If
Right.
if I'm selling something, do I want to sell it lower or
Oh
higher?
no, higher.
Higher. Higher.
Yeah, so I wanna sell this, right? If I wanna take your money away, right? I can sell you. You're buying here, for instance. I'm buying here, and I
Mhm.
stop selling here. What happens? If I don't have any more inventory here, and here comes Danny's like, hey man, I have a lot of inventory, but I'm up here.
Yeah, people are gonna want what they want,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They'll buy it.
They'll slowly get up there, right? And it might not be
Yeah.
slow, right? Because some people might be like, man, I want it, right? And
Right.
just go on eBay and
Yeah.
you'll see how many idiots just want it, right? And they just buy it. Okay. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. I'll trade live in the morning, so hopefully you guys can get on and kind of watch and see what we do. But this is my key zone for, you know, for weekly to skyrocket reverse, and that'll be probably the same levels going in after tomorrow. I think we're going to consolidate tomorrow. I think we'll have a little bit of potentially, you know, go below and fall, and then maybe you can have a run. Unless somebody knows the results, you know, PPI, CPI, then of course we're watching for continuation down, lose the PDL, and continue down, and that'll be the, you know, the key level for us. But as long as they don't reclaim 84 tomorrow, we're still accepting prices lower, right? So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
All right,
Sounds
guys.
good, man.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot, Shorty.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Shorty.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.